Alright, we're getting started here on Scott's rig. The, just ran a compression check on it. About 45-50 pounds low across the board. And it's kind of right in line with the, in fact one's got maybe 20% less than that on the number 3 cylinder. It's a unique car. I know it's got Alaska plates on it, and you never know where the cars come from. But this has no evap or gas tank emissions in it, and it's a 1999. Almost that's one of the last ones built. That well, obviously that's a speaker for an alarm at some point. What a neat deal. Usually this stuff's all cluttered with plastic boxes that take the vapor off the fuel tank. This is more set up. I can't remember seeing a late model one like this. But then we're in Washington, so almost all our cars have California emissions. But this is set up. It's all late model computer, distributor, everything. In fact, I just took the distributor out and cleaned it. God, this distributor on this thing was just horrendous. And you can see I'll have the bolts back in it. I just had it running a second ago. Wait for it to cool back down. Yeah, you can't let those distributors just, gotta clean them out every once in a while. I know they're all electronic and there's no real moving parts in them, but you still have to get the contacts clean and stuff. Anyhow, I just set it and adjusted it so I could make sure it ran right as far as the electronics. What was I saying? Oh, really neat not having these boxes and stuff in here. This makes it really easy to mount propane units and stuff in there if that's something somebody's doing. But when you open the hood up on this car, it looks like a 1994 or older, and it's really exactly the opposite. It's my favorite plum purple. And then it's got the XFI style block offs on the late model for the mirror, and it is this is the coolest part. It's a standard category TLEV. If anybody's keeping track. So this car has some potential to get some fuel economy if you're out on the open highway. Very cool. An excellent car to start with if you have a late. In fact, if you didn't have an early car, this late model is the way to go. I like that setup. Now they put propane on everything. It's hard to beat having all that extra room in the engine compartment. At any rate, what are we doing here? Oh, we're just getting a video ready, set up to decide what we're going to do and go through it. It looks to me like we just need to go just put a reman motor in it and decide if we're going to run a stock head or a MPG head or a hill climber head, and then where are we at? Dun, 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 dun. Oh, I'm kind of off my marbles for just a second there. I just had some guys come in that needed some parts, and we got off on talking about something else. I got to get back focused on my rig here. So it's got too many. Oh, that's what I was going to say. It's got too many miles on it, Steve, to do an in chassis on it, or it'll smoke when we run a hone through it. So, I'll just post this up to YouTube so I can send you a link over. And it's probably too long of a video to email, and I'll send you a couple of different price options, a stock one, and then I think for where you're driving in Seattle here, sounds like you came down up from UW. You're always in stop and go traffic, so we find that the hill climber head works the best, and probably just go from there. I imagine that driving it, we got about it took probably about a 30-mile drive, 35-mile drive, and it all seems to be pretty decent. It just kind of matches the odometer, so nothing out of line on it. Just needs to be brought back to new. Take a quick peek through the hood here. We're just getting this one bay here put together, so I don't have any bright lights in here yet. There's little things like cracked tin on that to take those off and paint them and stuff. And this is one thing for those of you at home that are working on your own rig. This has a different style exhaust manifold here. It looks like a 4-cylinder. If you're familiar with if you're into Geos, You might look up underneath this car and think that it's actually got a 4-cylinder in it because it's got that style of cat. The cat is just integrated into the manifold on the late model cars. And in fact, this is such an expensive unit to fix and replace. I actually put the early style cat on, or the early style exhaust manifold on it, and header pipe, and then put the catalytic converter down underneath out of an earlier car because it's just cheaper to. In fact, it's just cheaper to buy all that than it is to buy that cat setup. Probably, in fact, you might even save half the money. Yeah. Besides that, I think we're probably in pretty good shape. I imagine we'll probably need a clutch kit or something when the engine's out of it, unless we decide to go through the whole car. But just on the engine wise, if the clutch has got the mileage odometer shows, it should technically be up for its second clutch. And it's so dark in here, I hate to get the camera too far in it. That doesn't look too bad. You know, I didn't pop the radiator cap off. And it's full, and the freeze looks good. Yeah, alright, I'll get this off to you, Scott. You pick and choose what you want to do, and we'll put you back on the highway.